What a great story. It is great to have the legends with us this weekend. They've been enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the racing, and now is their turn to shine and relive the glory days. So we're going to wind back the clock, and we know that Mark Larkham likes to talk about the good old days. So, Larko, you can take us through this. The legends are on track, and you're alongside Aaron Noonan.
Thanks, Matty, mate. Yeah, I do love this. I really should be down scanning the pit lane on the V8 thing, but I've got up here, mate. I jumped up into it. I love this stuff. I really, really do.
Now, Dick Johnson is behind the wheel of True Blue. And this is the car, this is the starting grid, and this is like the dream grid of Australian touring car racing. Look at the names, look at the cars. Tony Longhurst in one of his old Ford Sierra RS 500s. Bobby Morris is behind the wheel of Norm Beachey's Monaro. KB's in the Camaro. James Brock in the 78 Bathurst-winning A9X Tirana. And for the more modern fans, Glenn Seaton in the Ford Credit Falcon. Jimmy Richards in the Nissan. John French is out there. It's fantastic.
A lot of championships, a lot of history. I was trying to put a number on, the value of what's out there on the grid now, but you can't even do it, Noons. It's these are iconic cars that will always sit within the history of motorsport in this country.
And it was very much a last-minute thing last year, but the guys at Pirtek, Steve Dutton and Glenn Duncan, got back behind it this year to bring the Australian legends back as a part of the Gold Coast 600. I've always wanted to do this, and I get to do it today. Let's go on board the True Blue Falcon and have a chat with Dickie himself. DJ, it's Aaron Noonan. Have you got me there?
Sure I have, Noons. Can you hear me?
I've got you, buddy. I've got you. I've always wanted to do this. Is it like a dog on lino, or is it all right?
Mate, let me tell you, nothing's changed in 30 years, pal. The seat, I tell you what, the seat's as hot as hell. The gear shift's like a spoon in a bowl of custard. But other than that, it's a fabulous, fabulous car.
Come on, hey, Dickie, it's Larko here. Come on, mate, you haven't learned of us. I can see that you are as busy as hell.
mate, let me tell you, either I tell you what, I must have been really good back then, or a damn sight stronger, because Christ, this is heavy on the steering.
You were telling me the other day that this thing's got a bit more power than 81.
Yeah, it's got a bit more grunt than 81 because Steve Amos from work did the engine, and it's an absolute gem, I tell you. It really pulls, and it's just so nice to drive.
So, Dick, you'd have to agree with me, when you drive that thing around there, the blokes that are in the modern era in the cars with all the bells and whistles and buttons, they're overpaid, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they sure are, mate. As I said, I can't believe either I was stupid or must have been half a ride or something.
DJ, thanks a lot. Great to have you as a part of the Pirtek Australian Legends. Jim Richards behind the wheel of the 92 Bathurst-winning Nissan GTR. Tony Longhurst in the B&H Sierra there. Group A cars, the turbocharged cars that really did evoke a lot of emotion around that time before, of course, V8 Supercars came to be.
It's great to see Tony Longhurst along too, because, I mean, those Sierras back then, I had a drive for one of those. They are a very, very difficult car to drive. High centre of gravity, a lot of power, small tyres, and Tony's driving style really lent itself well. He performed very, very well in that car.
And that car's actually the last of his team's cars from before he switched back to BMW. Car that's close to my heart, the A9X Tirana, the 78 Bathurst winning car. The 78 and 79 cars were separate cars for Peter Brock and Jim Richards, but James Brock behind the wheel, and anytime you see this sort of car, four-wheel disc brakes, 400 horsepower, it was the car that really fixed up all the dramas that they had with the L34.
Yeah, go on about it, Noon. It's a Holden, mate. You know I'm a Ford bloke. Can we get onto a Ford? Yeah, look at that. There's Cito's championship winning car, another iconic car. In fact, when you look at that Falcon, that is the year where, to me, the cars really changed. That's where the engines developed. There was engine management systems got very developed, highly developed, bigger brakes, all of that stuff. And that really is probably the forefront of the cars we have today.
And that's the 1997 championship winning car. The
EL Falcon.
Yeah, that's right. The 96 Bathurst pole-sitting car, in fact, with a lot of history. But you go back here, Brian Thompson's Camaro with Charlie O'Brien behind the wheel. Bobby Morris, the 76 Bathurst winner in Norm Beachey's 1970.
That is a beautiful car.
The 350 Monaro was the first Holden, the first Aussie-built car to win the championship. And Norm's the only man to have won the championship in a Ford and a Holden. And that's what Jamie Winkup's trying to do this year.
Yeah, actually, these guys, I know they're not going around here at full tilt, but I'll tell you what, the brakes on these cars just weren't designed to be pulled up on the Gold Coast around a street circuit with cement walls everywhere, so gee whiz, you'd want to be careful.
And of course, we mentioned how much these cars are worth. You couldn't put a number on them, and of course, the Bowden family, who have restored and cultivated and kept so many of these cars, they've provided many of them for the Pirtek Australian Legends. This is Alan Moffat's 1973 championship winning Phase 3 GTHO.
come on, Noons, I know you like that, but does it get any better than that?
No.
Does it get any better? And we are a lot of the Bowden family. They do a fantastic, because not only do they restore these cars back to their originality, they share them with the people, and that's the great thing about it.
And Johnny French is behind the wheel as well, who was, of course, so involved in the Ford project. But this is what we have really wanted to see. The number 1 car with Alan Moffat behind the wheel. And we've got to say thank you too to the Bathurst Regional Council for getting that car here. Let's go on board with Alan Moffat. It's Aaron Noon. Have you got me, Alan?
I can hear you just.
Hey, 33 years ago, this car wasn't in too good a health.
It wasn't bad, it just didn't have any brakes. Otherwise, it was breathing fine.
It's a bit different with all this concrete around, though.
I'm sorry, it is hard to hear you, mate.
How about all of this concrete? It's a little bit different to the mountain down the bottom.
Well, the rock faces at Bathurst were always intimidating, but we didn't have them all the way around the circuit. This is like driving in a tunnel of love, but fortunately, I've got a teammate that's guiding me, and we're just coming up towards the bottom of the circuit to finish off our lap of remembrance, I guess.
Now, Moffat, Slarko, mate, how are you? Moff, we love Bondi, love you, and I got to say, the 1-2 finish back then, a lot of conjecture about should it have been around the other way, mate. I reckon the effort that goes into not just driving the car, but pulling that team together, you should take it, mate.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
So a moment in history is being reenacted. 33 years ago, it was car 1 taking the checkered flag in front of car number 2. Today, though, down the outside, car number 2 has its nose in front, so Colin Bond gets the win that he didn't get in 77.
History rewritten. Moffat wouldn't have done that.
Oh, it's the one that Ford fans absolutely love.
Yeah, there was not a sweeter moment in Australian motorsport.
Fantastic to see these cars a part of the Armour All Gold Coast 600, winding back the clock. There's still a big day in store here. Lots more to come on Seven's coverage of the Armour All Gold Coast 600.